Welcome to the RSP Film Room. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. We're going to take a look at Tennessee wide receiver Jauan Jennings. He's a senior, 6'3". It says he's about 208. I bet he's closer to about 215. I bet he'll be closer to 220, 225 at some point in his career. Hard to tell maybe at this point, but I think he's a pretty big dude, and he plays like a big wide receiver. Watch this right here. This is one of my favorite plays I've seen from a wide receiver this year, and it has nothing to do with him catching the football. He's number 15 left hash. Watch him take on this linebacker. This is textbook blocking. Stalk block here. Works upfield. See how he works upfield, then to the outside. And watch him close the gap. And as the defender gets his hands out early, look at Jennings. His hands are low. His head is up. His pads are crouched. And then he brings his hands up in that uppercut range. So he uppercuts into the defender, gets his sideline arm into the side of the defender. That's going to help him as he moves his feet and works chest to pads. The defender now pushes him back, but he's going to anchor there with his step. And while he attempts to get shedded here, the linebacker attempts to shed him here. Look at him redirect and get his inside pad into the outside shoulder of that linebacker. That's fantastic. Really good effort. And now he's in a position with his back low over his knees to drive this defender away from the ball carrier. Now the ball carrier is going to get tackled, but don't pay attention to that right now. Just think in the vacuum of if the ball carrier was getting free, how's Jennings doing as a blocker? And you can see he's doing just fine here, moving this outside linebacker away from the ball carrier. Linebacker's going to try and shed him a second time right here and turn him away, shedding him more to downfield. But watch Jennings again redirect his shoulder. He gets that shoulder back into the chest there, drives through, and continues to turn that man off balance. Even though the running back is on the ground, Jennings is still working here. This is just fantastic, man. This is the opening play that I've seen of Jennings work. And right away, he impresses without the ball in his hand. And it's just fantastic work again. Upfield, then outside. Head up, crouched, uppercut. Hands in good position. Withstands the shed attempt. Redirects his pads so he gets chest to pads. You want to be chest to chest. You want to take the air out of the interaction with the block. And he does that here and drives the man, turns him away. Defender tries to shed him again, reestablishes his shoulder into the chest, turns the man away again. That's just beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful job. Great first impression here. And this isn't the only time that he blocks. I mean, they use him as a lead blocker. I mean, this is a set where you're going to see these three receivers are lead blockers to the edge on this edge run. Toss play. Here he is taking out right there, taking out the safety, or actually the cornerback, excuse me. Now, it's a nice hit. It's not, he doesn't sustain, but you see that he kind of delivers a thud with his pads there. He moves that man back a little bit. He leaves his feet a little bit from that contact. See, the defender, I mean, that's an impact right there. Defender kind of plays it off a bit. But, Jennings brings it. We're going to see a lot more of him as a blocker as we go through this particular game against BYU. All right, this is nice. You're going to see him, inside here on this tight twin look. And he's going to work up the seam and then break across behind the linebackers. Good hand framing here. Look at him bring his hands up. And notice how he doesn't leap for the ball. A lot of wide receivers will leave their feet on passes that are above their head or at helmet level and above, sometimes even chest level above. But he frames his hands perfectly near his helmet, envelops that ball. You can barely see the brown in between the gloves of his hands. He's got some big mitts right there. He's able to tuck the ball away into his right hand, up to his chest. Defender wraps him, pulls through that wrap, gets another yard here. Big dude in terms of, to me, he looks bigger than 208. He plays bigger than 208, that's for sure. Another nice interaction. Here's the cornerback here. Once again, we're going to have this toss to the right, and he stays tight to the pulling guard. That's great. No air between them. Stays tight. That's very good, presenting a solid wall right there. And then he accelerates upfield to take on his man. Gets chest to chest with the man. See how he's chest to chest? Very little air there. Gets his hands underneath the arms and is able to keep that defender from being able to shed and attack number 3 as number 3 goes through. All he can do is reach out an arm. Well controlled here. Very good positioning with the guard. Excellent strike. Good job with position to get chest to chest with number 2. Once again, and I love what he does with number 2. See how he works upfield first, then outside? That forces the defender. I mean, that's great positioning right there. When you start upfield first, you don't give number 2 position to work to the inside out. Because if you go too wide, that's going to force the running back a little bit more to the inside as a possibility, and it may give number 2 an angle. He works upfield first, then turns. And then that gives him an advantage too, because he can take that inside shoulder and move number 2 outside as a possibility. But even so, you see him get his hands in, and he's underneath the armpit there. So I like that he's kind of grabbing there. It looks like the defender's got maybe a piece of the face mask here, but let's go pretty quickly. And then you see, again, Jennings be able to drive the man downfield. And even though number 2 gets a hand on the runner, you know, this block is very helpful in getting the running back the first down. And you can see that he has no regard for whether or not someone might possibly run up on him. So many receivers, before they even get into an interaction like this, or if they first establish contact and they know the run's going to be to their side, they're looking back for the runner. Should I keep blocking, or can I avoid getting hit? Am I going to get hit? Am I going to get hit? He's not worried about it. He's focused on the task at hand. That's excellent work. All right, we get a little bit of luck here for Jennings. He works from inside trips, gets his hands on the defender's defender, gets it on him, clears out as quick as he can, and the quarterback throws the ball well behind Jennings here on this particular play. Defender bats it into the air. Good hands catch, underhanded, bucket style, but hands first. Defender gives him a little shove. He's able to secure it well. First touchdown of the day. Now there's a seam route, and you can see the power here and the leverage. You know, he's not a burner, but you can see as the defenders switch off coverage, the man who was over top Jennings on this particular play switches to the outside man. The inside man's late coming over here, anticipates it looks like maybe a little bit more of a shallower route, and ends up getting beat. Catches the ball underhand. Nice job plucking that ball at about waist level, maybe even knee level. Hard to tell from this angle, but it's at least at waist or knee level, and having to turn back towards the ball while running downfield. That's really nice work. There's the stiff arm right onto the head, knocks the man down. Very nicely done. Spins through. You know, good yardage on the play. Sturdy wide receiver for sure. Not targeted here, but I like the release here. You get a little bit of a widening here, a little bit of a stick with the helmet looking towards that outside, then comes over top and then reduces the shoulder. See how he turns that shoulder inside? Reduces the surface area to get past the defender playing that off coverage. Good work there. Here he is at the bottom of the screen. You're going to see him here work towards this defensive back once again. Now it's in the way of the scoring sign, but you see he's crouched here, has his hands in a position where he can get into the chest, and he's in that chest of the defender. You can see the elbow and the forearm underneath the forearm of the defender. He's able to turn that man a little bit. Just a consistently sound blocker. Now this is a should have had probably, but it was a difficult play because he's open on the post route on the, up the left seam here, but he has to turn back to address the ball, giving the defender time to come back and make a play on it right here. Has his hands up where it should be, gets his hands on the ball, but you can see the defender gets his hands on the bicep of Jennings and is able to pull the arm away. Good play by the defender. Should it have been caught? Probably, but it's a difficult catch at this point. Not a great throw. Probably still give more credit to the defender than you would for dropping the football here. And you can see, he has some release moves, but on this particular play, the defender's able to, ride him to the inside there, kind of reroute him a little bit. He'll have to work on various strategies. You're not going to be able to release against everybody on every route. Like this particular play, he's just going to shift motion here towards this inside receiver, and then he's going to break, just a little stop route. But watch how he breaks back to the ball a little bit. See, he takes a couple steps back to the ball. It's just something to note. You want to see if there's a pattern of him being able to break back to the ball on a variety of routes. And he does that even when he's not targeted there. All right, you're going to see Jennings here, 3rd and 3. This is going to be a tight zone window between these two linebackers. But you're going to see him work inside, and he makes that turn right in between the two. So even though he's not targeted here, I like that he finds that little open space, even if it's a very small window. He knows where to break there. A lot of guys sometimes run through that area and get picked up by a man in a way that they should have done a better job in terms of finding that little space. All right, so you're going to see Jennings here. He's going to work a little bit of a hop towards the outside, back inside, then back outside. Nice speed break there. But the quarterback puts the ball a little bit behind him. Should lead him more. Puts a little bit behind. See how he has to turn back into the defender who's trailing him. The defender's able to knock that ball away before Jennings even gets his hands on it. So good play by the defender. Not a great throw. Good route. Just wasn't targeted where you'd like to see it. All right, so now we're going to see Jennings work to this force man right here. Good job kind of inside out and just shielded him enough. I mean, obviously it's not a great block, but you see, he has no problem being able to get his hands into the man and to be able to present an obstacle. He's usually a lot better than that because, look at this particular play. He's going to crack block this defensive end. Look at him get the pads in there and stop him long enough just to be able to move him back a step. And when you can delay pursuit a step, that's going to help your running back out. Running back gets first down on this play. And imagine if 93 right here is maybe a step earlier than where he is. Maybe he's able to avoid this mess and to be able to make the tackle before the back gets through here. Even if not, just the fact that you see from the crack block that he's able to get his pads into that chest, knock him back, does his job. There's another nice block right on the linebacker, once again, like the first play of the game. Gets chest to chest, moves his pads into that inside shoulder, turns him to the outside. Really well done. Taking the air out between them. That's what you want, is you want to be chest to chest, and that's pretty close to what he's doing. Shoulder pad to pad. Another good work here. Slot, Works upfield first, then breaks to the outside and really just turns. Doesn't even break, just turns his feet, takes on that inside shoulder. He doesn't get his hands fully in there. He has to fight to do so. Eventually does. There's one hand right into the crown of the jersey. He's able to turn the man away. Look at that. Against 53 once again. Look at that. Targets that inside shoulder. Shoulder to chest. Turns the man. Takes the air out between them. Moves him away. Wide receiver winning against the linebacker 3 times in this game as a blocker. And here's the tie the ball game in overtime. Look at that. Nice work here. Widens the route. Widens that stem. Widens the defender playing over top. Slips back inside. Turns his pads. Makes himself a friendly target for the quarterback to see his jersey even as he's running downfield. See that jersey number? The ball's a little behind him, but look at him reach up there. Strong hands. Pull that ball down as the defender's in the way. Really well done. So clutch receiving as well as excellent blocking. So we've established that Jauan Jennings is a physical player. But check this out. Just a little route to the flat here, right? Catches the ball. Got a linebacker and a defensive back heading downhill at him. Third one over here coming downhill. Watch him be able to stop, flip the hips, work around the linebacker, stiff arm him, ward him off at least, and then lower the pads into the safety. Run through that, stay upright until help arrives, and then just keep pushing. And then he starts that scrum. It's nice work for a 208-pound receiver who plays like he's about 225. There's a 225-pound receiver on Georgia's roster who doesn't play with this kind of ferocity. There are few receivers that play with this kind of ferocity. And you can see that he's fearless because you start watching plays that this guy makes. Like this one here. Just leaping between defenders, catching the ball and turning away. Makes it look easy. Let's see if we can find another one for you that's interesting in that respect. Splits 2 safeties right there. No big deal. Lacking top speed, Jennings is really more of a slot guy. And you think Jarvis Landry being a successful slot guy as he is, I think Jennings might have a little more speed than Landry. You're going to see him against the safety. He's going to work a little bit of that shoulder inside. The defender falls down through the physical contact they both have together. One hand catch, little juggle, secures it, gets a foot in bounds. Nicely done. It really gets both feet in bounds there, it looks like. Nice job. All right, here we go. 3rd and 4 against Florida. A little mild-mannered little option just to hitch over here at the 34. Let's watch him split 3 defenders. Spin off of a linebacker. He's now 10 yards in. He's now 16 yards in. Lowers the shoulder, extends for more. I mean, actually, I think it's a little longer than that. I think he had a 24-yard gain on this play. Let's take a look. Here we go. 6, 11, 16, 21. Yeah, 24 yards on this particular play. With lots of nice little moves here. Nice vision. Really sees the field well. Doesn't go down easy. Tough player. One of the many things I like about Jauan Jennings' game is his work after the catch and how specifically he makes downhill cuts. Look at this cut. That's fantastic. And it's a play that a lot of receivers really don't make. A lot of guys will just try and outrun a defender here. They're going to try and take that corner as fast as they can. Jennings, number one, knows he's not that fast. Number two, he knows that if he can get downhill on a guy sharply, he has a better chance of running through whatever reach or wrap that safety's going to provide, and it's not quite as expected anyhow. So he's going to take the attack to the defender, runs through the reach of the trailing defender there, makes the safety miss completely, and he earns another 20 yards, 25 yards out of this deal. It's a 35-yard gain after the catch because of his willingness to make that cut. Nice sharp cut right there. With a lot of receivers, I see one-off plays where they make someone miss or run through wraps and they make a really nice looking play after the catch. Not with Jauan Jennings. He pretty much does it on a consistent basis. Here he is with the stiff arm after a little shake move on the defender. Really good location with the forearm right under the chin. Drops a man to the ground. Then nice quick turn of the hips. Gets around the safety or the linebacker here. And then here comes that defensive back again who got dropped by the stiff arm. He wants some more. So Jauan Jennings gives him some more and drags the man or just wards him off on the way to the end zone here. Good. Seems like every game I turn on, he's either breaking tackles or he's making plays in tight coverage where he's going to take a hit. Look at that by Jauan Jennings. He runs the deeper slant between two defenders. Ball's behind him. He's able to turn away, make the catch with his hands, active hands catch, hands extended, being able to get more control out of it, takes the hit, first down. Reliable playmaker. That's kind of how I see this guy. Lot to like from Jauan Jennings, if you ask me. I wonder about his speed. I don't know if he has great downfield speed, but I tell you this. Here's another crack block on number 99. Look at him do that. If I were going to boil down Jauan Jennings' game to one play that represents a lot about what I've seen from him so far, it's this one right here. 3rd and 14, 8:23 left, down by 4 at home. And you're going to see him inside trips here. He's going to face this safety. And he runs a nice little slant and go. And then makes this nice over-the-shoulder catch. Takes a huge hit. Comes down with the ball. This is like the way he's hit and the way that he catches this ball right here. This is a lot like the T.O. hit. The hit that the Packers put on T.O. back in a playoff game several years ago. For the game winner. I mean, look at him getting knocked airborne past the end line into people, into the wall. Beautiful play. We're going to look at it a little bit from the end zone view because you're going to get to see a little bit more about the route running. Here he is with the route running, okay? And I love how he sells this route. He sells it as if he's going to cross to the inside, gets into the number 29 to where he gets towards that inside shoulder, threatens that, and then with the head fake and the stick, dips back to the outside, turns the hips back to the outside as if he's going to, take the defender to the sideline, and then makes another plant right there. So you got basically, in, out, in type of release, and then he swims over the top. See the shoulder there? You can tell that he swims over there with it. Let's see if we can get it in slow motion for you can see some of it before it goes out of the video. But in, out, there's the arm. Yeah, if you see it just enough to see him, and then he takes that huge hit. But he brings that arm over, tracks the ball extremely well, 2 feet in bounds, huge hit, tough player. And this is what I want to highlight. Like, if we're going to break down what I've seen from, a number of games from him, first of all, you're going to see that he's fast enough, but he's a big guy. He's really good on angular routes that where you can work downhill in a vertical way, but you give him enough room and he can sell you on the route. Really good sale there. Some curvy linear movement is what I'd call it. He's not a hard cutter, but he can bend. And he bends really well to the inside, back to the outside, and again back to the inside. Good use of his hands there for that swim. And then just tracking the ball. He's very, very good at tracking the football. He can track the ball over his shoulder. Oftentimes, if the ball's not even at the shoulder that he expects it to be, he can track it well. And then the toughness right here. This is a guy that is an excellent blocker. He blocks all three levels of defenders and does it in a technically sound way. And he can take contact and win against contact. He's not the most polished receiver in this draft class, but he's one of the receivers I'm very excited about his potential to become a good professional. Reminds me a little bit of another number 15 I remember seeing years ago out of Pitt, Brandon Marshall. Big, strong, tough, physical, some technical prowess, good ball tracking. Keep an eye on Jauan Jennings. Thanks again for watching. For more RSP Boiler Room videos, you can check out my YouTube channel, Matt Waldman's RSP Film Room, and my site, www.mattwaldmanrsp.com.